Good evening, live from New Delhi. You're watching DT India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh, coming up in the next 30 minutes. World leaders gather in South Africa's Johannesburg for the G20 summit. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says will present India's perspective in line with the vision of one Earth, one family, one future. US says in talks with Russia and Ukraine to end the conflict. Sources inform Ukraine expected to give up land, arms under Trump's peace plan. Japan all set to restart world's biggest nuclear plant, Kashiwazaki Kariwa, for the first time since 2011 Fukushima disaster. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is en route to Johannesburg, South Africa, to attend the 20th G20 Leaders Summit being hosted by the Republic of South Africa. This will be the fourth consecutive G20 summit held in the Global South. Before departure, Prime Minister Modi issued a statement highlighting that it was during India's presidency of the G20 2023 the African Union had become a member of the G20. Prime Minister said the summit will be an opportunity to discuss key global issues and will present India's perspective at the summit in line with the country's vision of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam and one Earth, one family, one future. Meanwhile, ahead of the G20 summit, top global leaders have begun arriving in Johannesburg. Delegations from Brazil, Vietnam, Malaysia, China and the United Kingdom have reached the host city. Brazil's President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, Vietnam's Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh, Malaysia's Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim, China's Premier Li Qiang and UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer arrived in Johannesburg for the G20 summit. In other news, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said he has discussed with visiting Secretary of US Army on Thursday ways to work with Washington on a plan to end the conflict with Russia. Zelensky said that he will discuss the plan with US President Donald Trump in the coming days. He also said any US-backed deal to end the ongoing crisis in the region must ensure a dignified peace for Ukraine, adding that Ukraine is ready for constructive, honest and prompt work. He also said Kiev won't accept any deal that crosses its red lines.
Since the first days of the war, we have taken one extremely simple position. Ukraine needs peace, and a real peace, one that will not be broken by a third invasion, a dignified peace so that the conditions are with respect for our independence, our sovereignty and the dignity of the Ukrainian people. And we must ensure these very conditions.
Ukrainian president will hold a call imminently with his key European allies to discuss a US plan to end the conflict with Russia, Kiev said on Friday. French President Emmanuel Macron, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer and German Chancellor Friedrich Merz will join Zelensky on the call.
So they have been engaged with both sides, and these talks are continuing. As always, I'm not going to litigate the details of this plan as it's ongoing and it's in flux, but the president supports this plan. It's a good plan for both Russia and Ukraine, and we believe that it should be acceptable to both sides, and we're working very hard to get it done.
Following the Ukraine-US officials meet, the White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt on Thursday said that the administration is having good conversations, we just heard her, with both parties on how to end the conflict. And as per reports, a draft 28-point plan backed by US President Trump would require Ukraine to offer territorial and security concessions to Moscow, while Russia would be readmitted to the G8 group, receive sanctions relief. According to White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff And Secretary of State Marco Rubio had been quietly working on the plan for around a month. NATO agrees not to station troops in Ukraine. It is also reported that US will receive compensation for security guarantee if Ukraine invades Russia. It will lose the guarantee if Russia invades Ukraine. In addition to a decisive coordinated military response, all global sanctions will be reinstated. It also proposes that Ukraine will be eligible for EU membership. Crimea, Luhansk and Donetsk will be recognized as de facto Russian, including by the United States. Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi said on Friday that the country's stance on building constructive, stable ties with China will not change amid rising tensions between the two nations. A diplomatic rift between China and Japan has intensified since Takaichi told the parliament on November 7th that any Chinese attack on Taiwan could trigger a military response from Tokyo.
In regards to China, at the end of last month, President Xi and I confirmed the broad direction of comprehensively promoting a strategic, mutually beneficial relationship and building a constructive and stable relationship. There is absolutely no change in this stance.
Japan's Niigata Prefecture Governor Hideo Hanzumi said on Friday he would allow a partial restart of the Kashiwazaki-Kariwa nuclear power plant, the world's biggest, as Japan tries to revive its nuclear sector and reduce fossil fuel imports. Hanzumi will still need to seek the Prefectural Assembly's vote of confidence on his decision during the regular session beginning December 2nd. A restart would be the first for the TEPCO since March 2011. Tsunami destroyed its Fukushima Daiichi power plant. It would also be a breakthrough for Japan, which after disaster shut all 54 nuclear reactors in operation at that time, leaving it heavily reliant on fossil fuel imports, vulnerable to production shocks and supply disruptions. A Tejas fighter jet crashed on Friday during the ongoing Dubai Air Show. The Indian Air Force confirmed that the pilot has died after sustaining fatal injuries in the accident. The Indian Air Force also declared that a court of inquiry is being constituted to ascertain the cause of the accident. The 4.5 generation multi-role fighter aircraft took a nosedive while performing maneuvers in the sky during the air show. A magnitude 5.7 earthquake shook Bangladesh's capital Dhaka on Friday morning, killing 4 and injuring at least 20 individuals in a building collapse. The earthquake lasted only about few seconds but caused widespread panic, prompting many residents to rush out of homes and offices. Factories in Ghazipur saw chaotic evacuations, leaving around 100 workers injured in Tongi and Sripur. The Bangladesh Met Department reported the epicenter of the tremors to be Madabdi near Dhaka. Growing economic inequality is an ongoing problem worldwide, with the gap between the rich and the poor widening. Now a new study is out. The numbers are even more alarming than expected. Lars Holter is with Deutsche Welle and joins me from Berlin. Lars, what can you tell us about this new report?
Thanks for having me. Yes, that global inequality is indeed on the rise, and that's despite all sorts of efforts to change that. Here's some numbers. All the world's billionaires have seen their wealth rise from $13.4 to $15.6 trillion in 2024. That is the latest numbers. So that's up 16% in a single year. And that basically means that billionaires are seeing their wealth go up faster than anyone else in the world. As a matter of fact, many less wealthy people, even in industrialized nations, aren't seeing their wealth go up at all these days, as many countries are finding themselves in difficult economic situations. Just look at Germany with 3 years of recession and or stagnation. Or look at the US, where inflation is up and a growing number of people report difficulties paying for food and energy. Not to mention, of course, the masses of literally poor people around the world. And Oxfam, the NGO behind this latest report on inequality, says that just the gains alone that the billionaires made in 2024 would be enough to lift 3.8 billion people out of poverty.
And where is most of this incredible wealth located?
That would unsurprisingly be the United States, where there's more billionaires than anywhere in the world. And where we can also see how recent policy actually helps widening this gap instead of closing it. Just look at US President Trump's much touted main achievement in his first year as president, the so-called Big Beautiful Bill that has been extending tax cuts that economists have said would overwhelmingly help the super rich. Also, you look at the excess in Silicon Valley, like Tesla's recent $1 trillion bonus package for its CEO Elon Musk. However, half a world away, China and India have the next highest number of billionaires, and Germany is in fact in fourth place. According to Oxfam, 130 people in Germany sit on 10-digit wealth. As for the EU, there's almost 500 billionaires there. And many of them have actually not worked as hard for their money as is often reported. Many of them have simply inherited their wealth.
But what can be done against this major inequality? Are there any serious efforts underway that you can tell us about?
Not as far as I can see. There is a lot of talk around that, of course, and has been for years. In the EU, to stay on my home turf here, the latest idea was for an EU-wide higher taxation of the super rich. EU-wide, mostly because experts agree that this is a problem that can not be solved by one particular country, especially considering how easy it would be for billionaires to move themselves or at least their money to another country, to another tax system. Oxfam is now also using this latest report and its timing just as the G20 summit is about to start to appeal to the industrialized nations to establish an international task force to combat wealth inequality. Oxfam says such a group should have a similar structure and standing as the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. However, such panels are usually known to merely give advice to governments and to make pleas for policy changes. So we would not necessarily see things change there either.
Lars Holter, thank you for joining us with those updates. New billboards along the highway of Beirut's international airport have gone up welcoming the Pope of Peace ahead of Pope Leo XIV's arrival. The pontiff is scheduled to embark on a 6-day journey to Turkey and Lebanon in late November, marking his first trip abroad since becoming head of the Catholic Church. Thailand's smallest ethnic minority, the Manik, once lived as hunter-gatherers roaming the Malay Peninsula rainforests in search of food. Drawn by access to education and healthcare, many have begun settling, altering their traditional way of life. Now the Manik are demanding ownership rights to ancestral land that they claim for generations, but which remains protected under Thai law. Taiwanese tech giant Foxconn unveiled a suite of new products and technologies on the annual Honhai Tech Day in Hong Kong, as it announced an agreement with OpenAI to design and build AI data centers hardware, the latest in a string of infrastructure deals for the US creator of ChatGPT. And still to come on this edition of TD India Live. India looking to deepen collaboration with Israel to strengthen its own startup ecosystem. Day 2 of a 56th edition of IFI Witnesses Creative Minds of Tomorrow Challenge.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. when supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. India's Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal, who is leading a 60-member business delegation to Israel, said on Friday that India is looking to deepen collaboration with Israel to strengthen its own startup ecosystem. He emphasized that partnering with Israel's advanced innovation capabilities could accelerate India's journey towards building a world-class, future-ready startup ecosystem.
I believe we can collaborate with Israel to promote our own startup ecosystem, aspiring to take it to the levels of deep tech and high quality innovation at competitive prices, given the economies of scale that India has to offer. And I do think that whether it is cybersecurity, whether it's mobility, whether it's action against climate change, problems like producing steel with less carbon, or it is the medtech devices sector. I think India and Israel can work together, can partner together, and innovation will find purpose, innovation will find scale, innovation will become the new way of working and living tomorrow.
During his visit to Singapore, Union Minister Ashwani Vaishnav said Singapore Semiconductor Industry Association is partnering with India to support the country's approved semiconductor projects. The minister held detailed discussions with Singapore companies on their experiences, key challenges, measures to accelerate the movement of equipment and materials. He also discussed skilling of technicians and engineers for semiconductor projects with officials of MTI, Enterprise SG, Institute of Technical Education Services and Singapore Polytechnic. The minister also met with Gan Kim Yong, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Trade and Industry of Singapore. They discussed expanding bilateral cooperation, particularly in emerging technology domains. In other news, India celebrated World Fisheries Day 2025 on Friday, underscoring the country's commitment to sustainable fisheries, livelihoods and blue economy. Here's more.
World Fisheries Day, observed worldwide on 21st November, underscores the critical role of sustainable fisheries and aquaculture in supporting food and nutritional security, livelihood generation and ecological balance. World Fisheries Day highlights sustainability, livelihoods and the blue economy growth. India is the second largest fish producing country in the world and is one of the largest shrimp producers in the world. In 2024-25, India's fish production has more than doubled to 195 lakh tons from 96 lakh tons previously. GST on key fish products has been reduced from 12% to 5%. Marine products exports increased by 11.08% from US dollars 0.81 billion to US dollars 0.90 billion. Under Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, infrastructure creation includes 730 cold storages and ice plants. It also includes 26,348 fish transport facilities and 6,410 fish kiosks, strengthening sector nationwide. Marine Fisheries Census adopts an advanced digital ecosystem supported by custom mobile applications which includes Vyas Nav, Vyas Bharat and Vyas Sutra. Pradhan Mantri Matsya Kisan Samriddhi Sah Yojana provides a one-time incentive to encourage fish farmers to purchase aquaculture insurance. It covers 40% of insurance premium, capped at 25,000 rupees per hectare. Fisheries and Aquaculture Infrastructure Development Fund enhanced infrastructure within the fisheries and aquaculture sector. A total of 178 projects represents a total investment of rupees 6,369 crore. This marks a significant milestone in India's journey towards sustainable and inclusive growth in fisheries and aquaculture, setting the stage for India's next wave of growth in fisheries. Bureau Report, DD India.
And Deputy Director General of Fisheries of Indian Council of Agriculture Research spoke to DD India about how India's agriculture is growing with entrepreneurship and innovation.
Last 50 years, how we have grown. Maybe after independence, we are producing somewhere less than 1 million ton, more precisely about 7.5 lakh ton. Today, we are talking of 19.5 million ton. That itself speaks how the sector is growing. Now again, when we are looking at another 25 years ahead, by 2047, we have set a steep target, rather I would say, 40 million ton. And after that 40 million ton has to come again, around 32 million ton has to come from the culture itself. That means there is a huge responsibility on all of us. All of us means it is not only the government departments bringing good policy, researchers giving technology and innovations, farmers and entrepreneurs. They are the real, rather I would say, real hero who would be playing role.
Minister of State for Information and Broadcasting, Dr. L. Murugan, is in Goa, where he is participating in the 56th International Film Festival of India. In an exclusive conversation with DD India correspondent Deepika Mato, he highlighted various aspects of the film festival and pressed on India's role in the arena of cinema.
We are joined in by the Minister of State, Dr. L. Murugan. Sir, first of all, many congratulations on yet another successful edition of FIFI. What has been the outcome of this particular conference, roundtable conference, when we talk about?
So not only this roundtable conference, this entire FIFI, you see yesterday, we inaugurated the International Film Festival of India. It's the 56th edition. So this time, first time we came up to the road as a parade of the inauguration program, and various states tabelos and cinema houses tabelos and Goa's tabelos. So this now people are this festival is now people's festival. Earlier this festival will happen in the auditoriums. Now this festival came to the road. The people participation, the people Janbagdari. So the people's festival. Apart from that, this festival first time we are giving opportunity to the 50 women directors. Movies are going to screen in the entire festival. Apart from that, today morning I inaugurated the Creative Minds of Tomorrow. So that while we launched in 2021 as Azadi Ka Amrut Mahotsav, that time 75 young creators we identified. Now it is in almost 130. Every year the young creators are increasing. 130 young creators talents are participated, and they are going to make cinema with them creation within 48 hours. You see, within 48 hours. Last year one participant, she participated, she got a National Film Award. So this platform is very important platform. This platform is giving a bridge to the creator to the world level, global level. Apart from that, the creators' talent, the creators' enthusiasm, it will take up to national prestigious national level awards. So the creators, creative minds, they are getting, and apart from that, cinema eminents and cinema personalities, they are going to facilitate the entire festivals and master classrooms, discussions. Apart from the conversations, the various industry eminents, they are coming entire days. And now you saw that international as a IFFI 56th edition, there we had an ambassadors roundtable conference. We had a collaboration with the co-production agreement more than 20 countries. So we want to expand more countries because our content can go to the global, and the global people, they can come here, they can shoot in India. Then this an employment opportunity, and Indian economic activities will be also high. And this festival, last year our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, this this year itself. So our Prime Minister came there in Mumbai, and our Prime Minister stayed full day for the Waves Summit. In that Waves Summit also almost 77 country participants was there first time in this industry. Our media and entertainment sector is a growing sector. Our skilled manpower, technologically, and our creators, we are taking together with the technology. For that, under the dynamic leader Sri Ashwin Vaishnavji's guidance, we last year we established the Indian Institute of Creative Technology for the like IIT, IIM. For the youngsters, they can come up, they can take the classes, courses, and they can go towards the global and they can compete towards the global level.
Thank you so much, sir. So there you heard Dr. L. Murugan talking about how the government is pushing up to bring the orange economy into the forefront. With camera person Senthil, this is Deepika reporting for DD India from Goa.
That's all for this edition of DD India Live. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. This app is available on both Android and iOS. You can scan this QR code on the screen and download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live. Namaskar.